Hi there. Today we are going to draw and paint this beautiful feather. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you could do this in pencil if you want to first, but I'm going to do in a small headed Sharpie. And I'm going to make the line for the middle of my feather. So I'm going to come up, start from the bottom here. And do a bit of a wave. And I'm just going to make the bottom bigger right here and then kind of peer it off. Okay. All right. So this piece of paper is approximately 5 by 12. I am using watercolor paper because I do want to do watercolor on this. The next step to make our feather, we're going to use a pencil. I'm going to press a little harder than I normally would because I want you to see the pencil lines, but these will be erased. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make jagged lines, random jagged lines up, and the points are pointing upward on that side. And then the same thing on this side. Come out. There can be a short distance between or a long distance between. And go to the top. So this forms the outside of where your jagged lines are. So what you do now is to form your feather. Let's say I start with this one here. I'm going to take a look at my angles here. I'm going to draw a line over this one and I'm going to follow that angle, and I want to come down and come into the feather, gradually going into the center. All right. Now, then I'm going to take a look at this one. I'm also going to draw this one. Okay, I want to gradually bring it into the center. All right, this gives you an idea of how each section works. Now, to even this up, or to make the feathers in between, what I want to do is take a look at the distance between here and here. And I'm going to put a halfway mark, just like there. Okay. I'm going to take a look at the distance between here and here, halfway mark. Normally I would just do this, without measuring, but I want to show you, if you've never done this before, how you can figure this out. So I've got my mark here and here. Now I'm going to put your line halfway between those distances. So you have more of a distance from here to here, less here. Split that difference again. Okay, halfway here, halfway here. Same thing, halfway distance. When you're teaching children or kids how to do this, I have taught like 7-year-olds and older kids as well. They get the concept of splitting this, and you can see how it starts to fan out. And you continue doing that. You can either divide it up into 3 sections or half. Okay, I think I'll do it in half. And as you come into the center, it starts to get fuller down in here, doesn't it? Okay, and then you can split them up again. And you can get these as close as you want. You could do it closer if you wanted to. And see, now it starts to get dark in here, which is quite nice. So you just keep on splitting the difference between your lines. If they happen to be a little wavy, not a big deal. Okay, and there we have the first section of feather. So if I'm going from here to here, same thing. I'm going to draw this line first. I know I have to come down in here. Split the difference. And I'm going to divide this up into 2 sections here, just because the distance is different. Another one there. So they don't all have to be the same. All right. It's the same thing from here to here. Do your top ones first, come into the section, the middle section, split the difference. All right, there we go. The biggest challenge, especially for younger children, I was going to show you on here for a second, is if I do my stem here, and I do the biggest challenge is sometimes they'll draw them out like this. Okay, so you have to make sure you're pointing up. This is where you may have to help. Okay, so that's wrong. The other challenge they may have is this. When they start drawing these, instead of going down, they'll tend to do this. Okay, and so you lose the concept of the halfway mark. So you kind of have to guide sometimes if they're not getting that to make sure that they're coming down and into. It's the same way as some kids draw leaves or trunk branches, they come straight out. Okay, all right. Okay, I do want to show you the top here. So it's a little bit different. So I'm coming down here doing my gradual. So my top, again, I still have the halfway mark between here and here. All right, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to treat that the halfway there. I have to kind of pretend there's a halfway mark somewhere there, and I'm just going to gradually bring that in. And I'm just going to start filling that in. So there I actually got bigger at the bottom toward the stem, but that's okay. My lines aren't quite as straight there, but that's okay too, as long as you're filling in. And you can even, if you want to, make this bigger just by coming, or thicker, just by coming up a little bit. If you wanted to darken those in, you don't have to, but it kind of looks neat when you have that dark towards your center. I'm just kind of flipping up a little bit like that. All right, that's something you can do as well. All right, I've erased my pencil lines. You can see I started some here, I started some at the middle. I also darkened up some of the centers. You can also add a few of those little stray ones sometimes that come in the end. All right, so, all right, let's do a little watercolor here. So I'm going to take some different colors. I'm going to take a purple. I don't want to get my watercolor too dark pigment because I still want to see my black lines. So I'm doing a dry, and I'm just going to kind of feather them out. That's too dark. Perhaps I want to change my color, and I can blend over it, kind of a color there. So you can have some fun with your colors. You could try wet on wet if you wanted to. Let's see, I'll wet my thing here first. Let's try a bit of green there and see what happens. Maybe put another color in. Again, you can experiment with your colors. Be a very decorative feather. And there we have our finished feather. You can experiment with your colors, do whatever you like. You could extend them on if you want, like outwards, beyond your lines. Okay, just have fun with that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.